So, are you ready to dive into the Cocomelon phenomenon? I have to admit, even I'm a little curious about this one. It's this giant kids entertainment thing, right? But it's also like shrouded in mystery.
It really is.
So today we're gonna, try to unpack it all. Like, where did it even come from and how did it get so huge? And of course, we got to talk about all those controversies.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that.
The parent debates are intense.
Oh, definitely. It's a really fascinating case study, in how kids' entertainment works these days. I mean, think about it. Cocomelon, like with the nursery rhymes and the 3D animation and all that, it was totally different back in the day. Like back in 2006, it was called Checkgate.
Checkgate. I gotta be honest, that doesn't exactly sound like, toddler jams.
No, not at all. It was literally just this dad, Jay Gian, making videos, home videos for his own kids.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it was much more focused on like 2D animation and had this big educational element, not the nursery rhymes we know now.
Huh, interesting.
And actually, Jay's wife has a background in children's education, so she was super involved in those early videos too.
So it really was a family affair from the get-go.
Totally. Then in 2013, they changed the name to ABC Kid TV and started like experimenting more with the nursery rhyme thing. But it wasn't until they rebranded, like the big rebrand of Cocomelon in 2018, that everything like exploded.
Ah, yes, the rise of baby JJ. That little guy is like a toddler superstar. Seriously, his face is everywhere.
He's the face of the brand for sure.
It's crazy to think that this whole thing started with a dad just making videos at home.
I know, right?
And you know what's even crazier?
What's that?
That JJ and his team are like super private. You never see them.
Yeah, that's unusual these days for a brand this big.
It's true. Okay, so we've got this dad making videos in his living room, and now, bam, it's this global phenomenon with, wait for it, 187 million subscribers.
It's insane.
How on earth did Cocomelon go from like home videos to $1 billion empire?
Well, that's where Moonbug Entertainment comes in. They're this company that like buys and grows kids' content, right? So in 2020, they saw the potential, saw what was happening with Cocomelon, and bought it for, get this, $3 billion.
Hold up, $3 billion for a channel that sings about like Baby Shark and stuff?
You heard that right, $3 billion.
Wow, just wow.
And they have been incredibly smart about, turning that into even more money. Like, think about it. YouTube ads, all those Cocomelon toys and clothes, streaming deals with, like Netflix, even live events.
So it's not just videos, it's like a whole Cocomelon universe.
Exactly. And they're not just targeting, like, kids in one country. They're global.
Makes sense. Reach as many kids as possible.
They've translated everything into tons of languages.
You see.
I think a big part of their success, though, goes beyond just the business stuff to get their audience. Like those short, repetitive songs, the super bright colors, the simple stories.
Yeah.
It's all very intentionally designed, to appeal to, like, how toddlers' brains work.
It's true. As a parent, I can confirm that they've figured out how to, like, totally capture a toddler's attention, which, let's be honest, is no easy feat.
It's not easy at all.
But, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, is it? There's been a lot of, controversy and pushback with Cocomelon, too.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the debates are real.
There are definitely some concerns, and some of them are pretty big. Well, the big one, I think, that people always bring up is the screen time thing.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
Some experts worry that, that Cocomelon is so fast-paced visually that it's, like, overstimulating for little kids, and then that actually, like, makes it harder for them to focus on other stuff, Oh, yeah, I've definitely heard that. Like, it's almost like their brains get used to that constant, like, stimulation, and then anything else just seems, like, too slow or too boring.
Exactly. Like, think about it. Bright colors, quick cuts, catchy tunes. It's all just constantly, like, grabbing their attention. And then you try to get them to, I don't know, sit down with a book or play with blocks, and, like, it's just not the same.
No, it's not. And I've heard from, like, a lot of parents that their kids get, like, totally hooked on Cocomelon, and then when it's time to turn it off, forget it. Meltdown city.
Oh, yeah, the tantrums are real.
Big time. Do you think that's, like, connected to this whole overstimulation thing?
It could be. Like, imagine you're basically giving their brains this constant dopamine hit, right? All the colors and the sounds and the movement, and then boom, you take it away. I mean, that's got to be, like, really jarring for a little kid who doesn't have the same, emotional control as we do.
Right. They don't. It's like a sugar rush, but for their brains.
Yeah.
And the crash.
It's rough.
Yeah. Not pretty. So it's like they become dependent on it, that constant, stimulation.
That's the concern, yeah. Now, obviously, not every kid reacts this way, and there's, still a lot of research being done on like the long-term effects of this kind of content. But it's definitely something parents should be thinking about.
It's food for thought, for sure. Okay, so we've talked about the screen time thing and the overstimulation, but has there been any criticism of the actual content?
Yeah, definitely. One of the main criticisms has been the lack of diversity in the storylines and the characters.
Makes sense. There's been a big push for more representation, in all kids media.
Big time.
So Cocomelon has been called out for that, not doing enough.
Yeah. Because, representation matters, right? Especially for little kids. They're still fabbing out, how the world works. So seeing characters that look like them, come from similar backgrounds, have similar experiences, it helps them feel seen. It helps them feel valued.
It makes them feel like they belong.
Exactly.
So where does Cocomelon stand on this, then? Have they, made any changes, responded to any of this?
They have. A little bit. It's been slow, though. Moonbug has hinted at plans to include more diverse stories and characters in the future, but the changes haven't been as widespread or as fast as some people would like.
So it sounds like they're aware of the issue and they're making an effort, but there's still room for improvement.
For sure. And I think it's important to remember that creating diverse and inclusive content, it's not just about checking boxes.
No, it's got to be authentic.
Exactly. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be thoughtful, and how you represent different cultures and backgrounds and experiences.
It's about making sure all kids can see themselves in the world of Cocomelon, right?
That's the goal. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see, more progress in that area going forward. But I wanted to shift gears a bit and talk about something else, another part of Cocomelon's success. The merch.
Oh, yeah. The Cocomelon merch empire. Seriously, you can't go anywhere without seeing, Baby JJ's face on something. T-shirts, lunch boxes, those giant plush toys.
They have it all. It's brilliant, honestly, from a business perspective. You get the kids totally obsessed with the show, and then, bam, you offer them all this stuff to, bring those characters into the real world.
Toys, clothes, books, even bedding. You can literally eat, sleep, and breathe Cocomelon.
The whole ecosystem.
It is. And parents are, happy to spend the money.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who hasn't caved and bought, the JJ plushie just to avoid a meltdown in the middle of Target?
No judgment here.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, their merch success goes beyond just, clever marketing. I think there's something deeper there, don't you?
Totally. I think it's that emotional connection that kids have with the characters. They want to hug them, they want to play with them, take them everywhere. It's like they become part of the family.
Yeah, it's not just a toy. It's like a friend, a companion, a source of comfort.
And let's be real, some of that Cocomelon merch is pretty freaking cute. Here I've caught myself humming along to those songs while folding laundry more times than I care to admit.
I won't judge. But yeah, there's definitely something undeniably appealing about the whole Cocomelon aesthetic. Even for adults, it's bright, it's cheerful, it just, makes you feel good.
It's a little dose of sunshine, even on those crazy parenting days. But jokes aside, I think it's pretty clear Cocomelon has tapped into something really powerful. It's become part of the cultural conversation about, parenting, screen time, early childhood development.
It's everywhere. Online forums, parenting groups, even in academic journals. Cocomelon is a force to be reckoned with.
It really is. So where do we go from here? Is Cocomelon just this harmless form of entertainment, or is it something we should really be worried about? What does this all mean?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I don't think there's an easy answer. I don't think it's about, demonizing Cocomelon or saying ban it completely, but it's about, being informed and making choices, conscious choices about how and when our kids engage with it.
It's all about finding that balance, right? Limiting screen time, encouraging other types of play and interaction, and just being aware of the potential impact of this kind of hyper-stimulating content on their little brains.
Exactly. And recognizing, the potential for dependency.
Yeah.
And having strategies for dealing with that. It's not about just throwing Cocomelon on and calling it a day. It's about being actively involved in their media consumption and making sure it's serving them in a positive way.
It can't be the only thing they watch, the only way they learn.
Right. It's just one piece of the puzzle, when it comes to raising happy, healthy kids.
Totally agree. It's wild to think about how much Cocomelon has changed. It's not just, those catchy songs and the colors anymore. They're trying all sorts of new things.
Oh yeah, totally. They've been branching out, going way beyond just the videos. Like one thing they're doing that I think is really interesting is they're developing like educational apps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it seems like they're like trying to respond to some of that criticism, about the overstimulation and the lack of educational value. So they're creating content that's like more interactive, more engaging.
So like sneaking in some learning, but keeping it fun.
Exactly. So instead of just, passively watching, the kids can actually like play and learn along with the character.
I like that.
It opens up a ton of possibilities. Like you can imagine apps that teach, basic math or language development, maybe even like social emotional stuff.
All wrapped up in that, Cocomelon world.
Exactly. It's using the power of like entertainment to make learning more, more appealing.
That's really smart. Okay, but what about this whole metaverse thing? I know everyone's talking about it, but I'm still not sure I like totally get it.
It is kind of a buzzword right now. It's basically like this immersive virtual world where you can interact with, other people and have experiences in a much more like realistic way. It's still, early days, but a lot of people think it's going to be the next big thing.
So how does Cocomelon fit into all of that? Are they gonna like make their own virtual Cocomelon world or something?
I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine like virtual play dates with JJ, interactive sing-alongs, maybe even like educational games, all set in, the Cocomelon universe. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about the possibility.
That's crazy. So it's not enough for them to be just a YouTube channel. They want to like build this whole Cocomelon experience.
Yeah, and with Moonbug behind them, they definitely have, the money to do it.
That's true. It really shows like how ambitious they are. And they're not afraid to, use new technology, try new things to connect with their audience.
Totally. It'll be really interesting to see like what they do next.
It will. But even with all of this, all this innovation and growth, there's still this mystery around the creators themselves. Like Jay Gian and his team, they stay out of the public eye.
They do. They've let the brand speak for itself. Which, I kind of think makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, it does.
They're like the Willy Wonka of kids entertainment. They're creating this whole world behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And it says a lot about like the power of what they've built. They don't need to be famous to be successful. Their creations like do the talking for them.
Well,
so as we, kind of wrap up our deep dive here, what's the verdict? Is Cocomelon good, bad? What's the deal?
I think it's more complicated than that. Like anything, any kind of media, it has the potential to be both positive and negative. And it really comes down to us, the parents, like we need to be informed, we need to set limits, and we need to like make sure there's a good balance, right, with the screen time and everything else.
So it's not about, getting rid of Cocomelon completely. It's about like using it wisely, and being aware of like the potential effects. It's about balance, making sure it's not the only thing they watch, the only way they learn.
Exactly. Cocomelon's just, it's just one part of raising happy, healthy kids.
Well said. We've covered a lot today, from those like early days to like total world domination. It's a crazy story and it's still going.
I know, it's fascinating. Who knows what's next for like the Cocomelon empire, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it.
Oh, for sure. And maybe, humming along to a few of those songs while we do. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Cocomelon. Until next time, keep those little ones happy and don't forget to take care of yourselves too.
And remember, a little Cocomelon goes a long way.